Hello everyone. I'm going to make a discussion about the mathematics of investment, chapter 7. First, I need to make an introduction about the mutual funds, cost and proceeds. Mutual fund is formed and managed by an investment company by pulling together the investments of a big number of investors. Second, the cost and proceeds. The total cost of a mutual fund is calculated by multiplying the price offered to the number of shares bought. Then, if sold, the proceeds is obtained by multiplying the net asset value by number of shares sold. The price offer is the price the investor buys the shares, while the net asset value is the price the investor sells its shares. The difference between the net proceeds and the total cost determines the gain or loss on the sale of the mutual fund.
Sample number 1. SMQ Company bought 1,500 worth of shares of NQF Corporation's mutual fund at the price offer of 125.50 pesos when the net asset value was 119.45 pesos. If SMQ Corporation sold the shares at the offer price of 138.77 when the net asset value was 128.20 pesos, find the total cost and net proceeds of SMQ Corporation. How much was the gain or loss? These are the givens. Price offer is equal to 125.50 pesos. Net asset value 128.20 pesos. Number of shares 1,500, and we are looking for gain or loss. Solutions. The total cost is calculated as follows. The solution is total cost is equals to price offer multiplied by number of shares. So 125.50 pesos times 1,500 is equals to 188,250 pesos. Next, the net proceeds. Net proceeds is equals to net asset value times number of shares. 128.20 pesos times 1,500 is equals to 192,300. Lastly, we need to find the gain or loss. The gain or loss is equals to net proceeds minus total cost. So, 192,300 pesos minus 188,250. So, we will have a gain of 4,050 pesos. And that's the answer of the problem.
Problem number 2. RJM Company brought 2,500 worth of shares of GBL Corporation's mutual fund at the price offer of 175.75 pesos, when the net asset value was 136.50 pesos. How much is the net proceeds if the company obtained a gain of 7,850.35 pesos? Given, first, price offer is equal to 175.75 pesos. Second, the number of shares is equal to 2,500. The gain is equal to 7,850.35. And we are looking for the net proceeds. The formula for the total cost is equal to price offer multiplied by the number of shares. The price offer is 175.75 pesos multiplied by the number of shares, which is 2,500. So the total cost will equal to 439,375 pesos. And we are looking for the net proceeds. The gain is equal to 7,850.35. So we are going to use the equation gain is equals to net proceeds less the total cost. The gain is 7,850.35 is equals to net proceeds less 439,375. We are going to use transpose the net proceeds and the gain. So the equation will going to be net proceeds is equals to 439,375 plus 7,850.35. and the net proceeds will be 447,225.35. Problem number 3. MCP Company availed 2,850 worth of MWR Company's mutual fund. If MCP Company sold the shares at an offer price of 149.50 when net asset value was 142.75, how much is the total case if they get a gain of 3,785.45? Given. First, the net asset value is equal to 142.75. Second, the number of shares is equal to 2,850. The gain is equal to 3,785.45, and we are looking for the total cost. Solutions. The formula is net proceeds is equals to net asset value times number of shares is equal to net proceeds is equal to 142.75 multiplied by 2,850. So net proceeds is equal to 406,837.50. The gain is 3,785.45. Using the equation, gain is equal to net proceeds less total cost. The gain is equal to 3,785.45 and the net proceeds is equal to 406,837.50. So the equation will going to be 3,785.45 is equal to 406,837.50 less the total cost. And we are going to use transpose. So total cost is equal to 406,837.50 less 3,785.45. So the total cost is equal to 403,152.05.
For the number 4 question, MCP Company bought 2,000 worth of shares of RJK Corporation's mutual fund at the price offer of 130 pesos, when the net asset value was 120 pesos. If MCP Corporation sold the shares at an offer price of 140 pesos, when the net asset value was 135 pesos, find the total cost and net proceeds of MCP Corporation. How much was the gain or loss? So we have the price offer, this is 130 pesos, net assets value 135 pesos, number of shares 200 pesos. And now we're going to find out if it is a gain or loss. First, we have to find the total cost. To find the total cost, we have to multiply the price offered and the number of shares. So we have to multiply 130 pesos to 2,000 pesos. So the total cost would be 260,000 pesos. So to find out if it is a gain or loss, we have to subtract the net proceeds and the total cost. So we have to subtract 270,000 pesos to 260,000 pesos. And we will have a gain of 10,000 pesos. For the number 5 question, when the net asset value was 2 pesos and the price offer was 3 pesos, VN Corporation 25,000 shares of MCP Mutual Fund. When the net asset value became 2 pesos and 50 centavos and the price offer increased to 20, VN Corporation sold 12,000 of its shares, then sold off the remaining shares when the net asset value was 1 peso and 50 centavos, and the price offer was 1 peso and 90 centavos. Find VN Corporation's total gain or loss. So the price offered is 3 pesos, the net asset value is 1 peso and 50 centavos, the number of shares is 25,000 pesos, and now we have to find out if it is a gain or loss. First, we have to find the total cost. To find the total cost, we have to multiply the price offered and the number of shares. So the price offered is 3 pesos and the number of shares is 25 pesos, so the total cost is 75,000 pesos. After finding the total cost, the next would be finding the net proceeds. To find the net proceeds, we have to multiply the net asset value and the number of shares. So the net asset value is 1 peso and 50 centavos. We will multiply it to the number of shares, which is 25,000 pesos. So we will have a net proceeds of 37,500 pesos. To find out if it is a gain or loss, we will have to subtract the net proceeds and the total cost. So the net proceeds is 37,500. We will subtract it to 75,000 pesos. So we will have a loss of 27,500. For the number 6 problem, RPC Company bought 1,000 shares of M Mutual Fund when the net asset value was 97 pesos and 40 centavos. and the price offered was 105 pesos and 32 centavos. Then, 2,000 shares when the net asset value was 99 pesos and 75 centavos, and the price offer was 125 pesos and 42 centavos. How much was the total cost of these shares? So we have 105 pesos and 32 centavos as the price offered and 1,000 pesos as the number of shares. Now the question is, what is the total cost? So first we will have to find out what is the first total cost. To find the total cost, we have to multiply the price offered and the number of shares. The price offered is 105 pesos and 32 centavos and the number of shares is 1,000 pesos. So we will have the first total cost, which is the 105,320 pesos. After finding the first total cost, next would be the final total cost. So we have 125 pesos and 42 centavos as the price offered number 2 and 2,000 pesos as the number of shares number 2. We will multiply 125 pesos and 42 centavos and 2,000 pesos. So the final total cost would be 250,840 pesos.
Problem number 7. When the net asset value was 1.87 and the price offer was 1.99, PCM Corporation purchased 25,200 shares of GU Mutual Fund. When the net asset value became 1.92 and the price offer increased to 20.54, PCM Corporation sold 12,800 of each shares, then sold the remaining shares when the net asset value was 1.85 and the price offer was 1.97. Find PCM Corporation's total gain or loss. First, given the price offer equal to 1.99 and number of shares equal to 25,200, let us first compute for the total cost. Total cost is equal to price offered multiplied by number of shares. Therefore, 1.99 times 25,200, we got a total cost of 50,148. Next is to compute for the net proceeds 1. Given the net asset value 1 equals to 1.92 and number of shares 1 equals to 12,800, net proceeds 1 is equal to net asset value multiplied by number of shares. So 1.92 times 12,800, we got the net proceeds 1 equal to 24,576. Next is to compute the net proceeds 2. Given the net asset value to 1.85 and number of shares to 12,400, net proceeds 2 is computed by net asset value times number of shares. So 1.85 times 12,400, we got the net proceeds 2 equals to 22,940. After getting the net proceeds, we will now compute for the total net proceeds. Total net proceeds is equals to net proceed 1 plus net proceed 2. So 24,576 plus 22,940, we have a total net proceeds equals to 47,516. Finally, to compute the company's gain or loss, we have the formula total net proceeds less total cost. So 47,516 less 50,148. We have the total cost greater than net proceeds, so we have a company loss of 2,632.
Now it's your turn to solve the problems from number 8 to 10. These are the formula. First, the formula for the total cost is equals to price offer multiplied by the number of shares bought. Second, the net proceeds. Net proceeds is equals to net asset value multiplied by the number of shares sold. Third, the gain or loss is equals to total net proceeds less the total cost. SPC Company purchased 90,000 shares of mutual fund with a net asset value was 2.11 and the price offer was 2.01. 84,800 shares when the net asset value was 2.08 and the price offer was 2.07. And 42,200 shares when the net asset value was 2.30 and the price offer was 2.05. What was SPC Company's total cost? Let's try to check whether answer or answers in solution or solutions are correct or wrong. Given, price offer is equals to 2.01. Number of shares is equals to 90,000. Solution. Cost 1 is equals to price offer multiplied by the number of shares. Cost 1 is equals to 2.01 times 90,000 is equals to 180,900. Cost 2. Price offer is equals to 2.07. Number of shares is equals to 84,800. Solution. Cost 2 is equals to price offer multiplied by the number of shares. Cost 2 is equals to 2.07 multiplied by 84,800 is equals to 175,536. Cost 3. Price offer is equals to 2.05. Number of shares is equal to 42,200. Solution. Cost 3 is equals to price offer multiplied by the number of shares. Cost 3 is equals to 2.05 multiplied by 42,200 is equals to 86,510. Total cost 1 is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. It is equals to 180,900 plus 175,536 plus 86,510. The total cost is equals to 442,946. If later, SPC Company under problem number 8 above purchased additional 10,000 shares at 2.11 net asset value and price offer of 2.25, find its average cost per share. Let's try to check whether answer or answers in solution or solutions are correct or wrong. Given, price offer is equals to 2.25. Number of shares is equals to 10,000. Solution, cost number 4 is equals to price offer multiplied by the number of shares. Cost 4 is equals to 2.25 multiplied by 10,000. Cost 4 is equal to 22,500.
For our last problem, JRP Superstore purchased 6,000 shares of Z Stock Mutual Fund when the price offer was 24 pesos and 52 centavos. And the net asset value was 22 pesos and 34 centavos. Find JRP Superstore's A. Total cost, B. Net proceeds, and C. Amount of gain or loss. If it sold the shares when the price offer was 29 pesos and 35 centavos and the net asset value was 25 pesos and 9 centavos.
Let's try to check whether answer or answers in solution or solutions are correct or wrong.
So, the price offered is 24 pesos and 52 centavos. The asset value is 25 pesos and 9 centavos. The number of shares is 6,000 pesos. Now we will have to find out if it is a gain or loss. So first we have to find the total cost. To find the total cost, we have to multiply the price offered and the number of shares. So we will multiply 24 pesos and 52 centavos to 6,000 pesos. So the total cost would be 147,120 pesos. Next would be the net proceeds. To find the net proceeds, we will have to multiply the net asset value and the number of shares. So the net asset value is 25 pesos and 9 centavos. We will multiply it to the number of shares, which is 6,000 pesos. So the net proceeds will be 150,540 pesos. And last but not the least, we will have to find out if it is a gain or loss. To find out if it is a gain or loss, we will subtract net proceeds and the total cost. The net proceeds is 150,540 pesos. We will subtract it to 147,120 pesos. So we will have a gain of 3,420 pesos.